Overwatch tanks are weird. It's the only role in Overwatch that has no real set goal. Sometimes they're just a big damage sponge, other times they become a raid boss of the server, sometimes they're even just an unkillable god queen like Orisa, and maybe they're even a hamster in a 2-ton ball traveling at the speed of sound. In Overwatch, tank certainly started out as the most important role, with the legendary 6 Winston comp dominating the early days.
Greetings!
But after hero limits were added, they became just another damage sponge that enabled the rest of their team. But that all changed when one man did this.
Coming back in with the Pharah, Zumba goes down fairly soon, but there's a primal rage for Miro. You gotta get away from that monkey. Wow, 2 mid-air hits, 3 mid-air hits. See ya! Oh,
he gets
he's back! You got that cooldown, man.
Across 9 years and 2 games, Miro changed the role as we know it with this one highlight. Am I getting old? He was the best tank in the world, almost undisputed in the pre-Overwatch League era, playing almost exclusively Winston. Before Miro, that was almost unheard of. After the beautiful 6 Winstons were banished by Evil Blizzard, all main tank players set their sights on Reinhardt, and players like Kaiser dominated early on. This was because he paired really well with Zarya, who was one of the, if not the best hero in the game in 2016 and early 2017. Back then, Korea and the rest of the world rarely played against each other, so no one really knew how much better South Korea and Miro were at Overwatch until the 2016 Overwatch World Cup, where Miro was making other main tanks look completely silly. This guy just had the best control over the hero that anyone had seen up to that point, and looked unkillable, as he was using the revolutionary tactic of paying attention to the enemy cooldowns. It was a different time, okay guys, that was impressive back then. The World Cup also wasn't that serious as they were letting Pokelols and Muselk play, but he was still so good he convinced Jeff Kaplan to not buff Winston, and that level of pure mastery over Zero continued on with his contenders team Lunatic High, who were the best team pre-Overwatch League, winning 2 of the largest Korean tournaments and getting a respectable finish in other ones, except for the last Apex before the Overwatch League began, but I'm sure that doesn't mean anything. When Lunatic High became the sole dynasty, they were certainly going to be the best team in the Overwatch League, but that never happened. Miro's skills were never in question. He was the best at knowing exactly how far to dive, staying alive under pressure, and making space for his DPS. However, when the league began, he was looking pedestrian, and the dynasty struggled. The truth was, everyone else caught up. Knowing when Lucio's boop was off cooldown was no longer a crazy talent, and with players constantly scrimming and improving, Miro stayed stagnant. By the end of Season 1, bro was so bad, he was benched for his flex support player. And the worst part is, the flex support was better than him, at his own hero. Miro's time came and went, just like that, but the people he inspired kept his legacy going, and every subsequent tank player stands on the 5'6" shoulders of Miro. But no time for that. The next generation was already upon us. This time, Reinhardt was back, and with new heroes like Orisa and Sigma coming into the game in the next 2 years, tank was changing. But tank players first had to adjust to the new world of goats. The best 2 Reinhardts and goats by far were Bumper, and as much as it pains me to say it, Super Team Fortress. These days we know Super as a more aggressive Reinhardt player who's still able to make the right decisions when he needs to, and ended up actually being pretty flexible. Bumper was a more aggressive version of Super who almost never made the right decision.
Hey man, so take it, boy! No, Bumper just turbo fed. Bumper just turbo fed.
You crazy fucking idiot!
Bumper actually just engaged the feed drive to warp speed and charged for no reason.
He was known for constantly feeding, fragging out, and even playing Hanzo. Both of their styles led to great success as they were the 2 best teams in the Overwatch League, and in the first stage, they played each other in the finals where the Titans ended up barely edging out the Shock to become Stage 1 champions. But while all eyes were on Bumper and Super, another branch of the Miro tree was growing an extra Chinese leaf that produced a fruit named Aean. This guy played Ryan for a bit, sucked, said, nah, I'm good, and proceeded to one-trick ball and embarrass teams for the rest of the stage. His style was somehow even more aggressive than Bumper, and yet because he was playing an evil rodent that no one knew how to play against on a team that knew how to play around him, he got unreal value on a stupid rat that wasn't even good yet. If you want to end Hammond's life, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more metastasizing Overwatch content, and consider clicking the join button to help me make more videos. Shout out to the members in the second tier, Piggles, Left Y, and Falapa Stapa. Extra special shout out to GDH legends, God Some Good, and Maple. Thank you for the support, you are helping me go to Sweden, and if you want to hear your name in my videos, click that button. Do it right now. Anyways, while he kept grinding away in the background, the story of Titans vs Shock and Super vs Bumper continued in the Stage 2 finals. The Titans had slipped a little bit, and the Shock were literally unbeatable, dropping 1 map in the whole stage. They were locked in, but the Titans were showing a fight, evening up the score at 2-2. It wasn't enough, and eventually the Shock propelled themselves past the Titans, cementing the greatest stage in Overwatch League history, dethroning the stage after Boston Uprising kicked the pedophile. But the story was not over yet. The Titans and Shock were to meet again in the 2019 Grand Finals, otherwise known as the finals where I met Jeff Kaplan at an airport and made him extremely uncomfortable. In fact, he even cited that as the worst fan interaction he ever had in this interview. Holy W kellyGDH. Anyways, in this final, there was no Bumper or Super to be found. Bumper was gone. Straight up, no one knows what happened to him after this year. I think the Titan shot him in the back of the head like Mike Ehrmantraut, because Reinhardt was not meta anymore and that guy was useless on every other hero except for Hanzo. Super was also sitting on the bench because Smurf was just better than him at the meta heroes. Ultimately, the shock won with Super and Bumper watching from the sidelines, and while at least Super continued to have a great career, it was clear their era was also coming to an end and their branch grew on past them. Aean was not done yet. He was unkillable. They kept bringing on more tank players to get rid of him and they never could. He was personally working in the Chinese visa office denying other main tank players visas just so he can continue running it down on ball for the love of the game. His time would come eventually, but not yet. Super and Bumper were gone because Dive was back. Bumper was probably dead in the field in Korea somewhere, but that's why Super was gone at least, and the next generation of tanks were the Winston and D.Va players once again. The best Winston player of this era, and perhaps of all time, is the main character of the Overwatch League, Fearless. Dude was brought onto the worst team ever, the 0-40 Shanghai Dragons, and left the team out of frustration because, yeah, I would too. But he didn't quit. He went into the hyperbolic chamber, drank Soylent, took Terkesterone, did red light therapy, anything he could, and when he came back, he had more than leveled up. In his first season back in the league, he was a role star, led his team to win all 3 mid-season tournaments, and finished 3rd place in the league overall, a big change from the 0-40 Dragons he left. He went on to play for the Fuel, winning a championship in 2022, and that was when he was really at his prime. He was wicked smart and took Miro's playstyle to the next modern level. What truly separated him from Miro though was his leadership. It's no secret why all the best players in the world wanted to play with Fearless. He was basically playing the game for them. He was the best leader in the league for his entire run there, and shot called his way to one of the most successful and highest earning careers in Overwatch history. While Fearless was on his reign, Smurf was no slouch either, taking the torch from Super in a more literal way, taking his spot on the Shock after his retirement. I don't want to say he was better than Super, but Smurf was better than Super in almost every way that mattered, and he can even do vape tricks. I have no video evidence, but I saw him doing it in Toronto, you have to believe me. Smurf was different in that he played more of an enabler role with his partner Choi Hyobin. They were able to take turns popping off, and he allowed DPS to take over too, as the Shock were a rotating door of top damage talent. This guy even survived playing with FD God on Lucio, that's how good he was. But the real trooper that came out of this era was hanbin. He was one of the best tank players in his first season with the Eternal, and has continued to be one of the best tank players until this day. That's almost 6 years of being the top of the game, and he shows absolutely no signs of slowing down. His extreme flexibility and focus on off-tank allowed him to succeed in every era. He was one of the first off-tank players in the league to stop playing D.Va. Not because he wasn't good, he was literally the best D.Va in the world, but because he was that good at other heroes. And he inspired others to try new heroes like Zarya and Sigma as well, changing the off-tank role as we know it. Oh yeah, I forgot about Aean. They finally got him. They stopped his ball from spinning and replaced him with a different main tank who was unfortunately better than him at every hero, even ball. But his branch will continue into Overwatch 2, and I would say that his specific playstyle has gone on to inspire a new generation of main tanks players, much like Miro did. Overwatch 2 has given us 4 new tank heroes, and they have all been hard meta at different points. Now more than ever, flexibility is extremely important, and this is shown in the new generation of tanks. But of course I have to mention the Korean uncles hanbin and Smurf, who are still doing it, with hanbin being the best Zarya and Smurf being the best Mauga, but that's boring, so forget about that, and Smurf is retired now. Off the Aean branch have stemmed more flowers, and from Chinese they have turned Korean once again. The ones I can highlight most clearly are Donghak and Junbin, 2 extremely flexible players who mostly focus on off tanks, with Donghak at least having a greater focus on Doomfist. These guys are just nutty on these characters, and despite facing relentless bullying, Donghak has been clutching up, and if he sticks with this game, I think in a few years he'll be in conversation with Lip and Prophet. Junbin, on the other hand, plays for the best team in the world. That really says something about his abilities, as they have been the best team since Overwatch League ended. This guy is seriously good. Gujue also fits into this camp, but if I said that he took inspiration from Aean, I would have to blow my head smooth off, because he has been around for a long time. He is an extremely great player considering that he only plays 2 heroes well, and the second one was only added recently. He is of course the Primal Blade, an extremely technical Winston player who frags out and gets crazy value with ult. But he finally realized Winston isn't good all the time, and unlike Aean, he actually learned another hero, becoming the best Doomfist player of Overwatch 2 and still playing at a high level for Weibo Gaming. And as I always have to mention, he is completely breathtaking in female clothing. Off the Fearless and Smurf branch comes tanks like Vestola, Infekted, and Max, who focus more on Overwatch 1 tanks, but still have great flexibility. Vestola at least has a fantastic Sigma, and I at least know Max best for his Ryan and Infekted for his ball, even though they've all gotten more flexible these days. All of these guys are great players, and the differences in their playstyles from the Korean main tanks underlines the shift that Korean styles and Western styles are undergoing currently, as the regions play against each other a lot less often. The Koreans are lucky Dildux doesn't play over there, it would be carnage. But the greatest example of the change in playstyles between the games is someone. This is not a choose your own adventure video, that's just his username. Why did bro choose this? He's the best Ramatra, 2023 Overwatch League MVP and the most flexible player in Overwatch. Well, these days he mostly warms the bench behind hanbin. When he plays, he is a fantastic player, and when the meta shifts away from the new unkillable tank player hanbin, he will pop off again. Just watch. Overwatch's tank history is illustrious, stemming from one man who set the tone for the role and being continued for almost the entire decade, with many brave men and even boys in Donghak's case stepping up to carry the torch. In 2026, when Mama Hong comes out, maybe we'll even be seeing my name up there with the big boys. But whatever happens, hanbin will probably still be the best tank player in the world. Subscribe.